All right, welcome back to the Integrate This podcast. I'm Jeremy Mikla. Next to me, that way, is David Berner. Thanks for joining us here again today. You're back here because you are still interested in what alternatives exist to Flip, or formerly known as Flipgrid, which, as we talked about last time, is not a product that has gone away. It's just gone behind a paywall, and it's not any more accessible to teachers who had been using it for years, including myself when I was in the classroom. I loved using it, and was really, really sad when it became this feature that now all of a sudden Microsoft was charging schools for. And so last time we checked out an alternative way of using FigJam, which we had also talked in about as an alternative to Jamboard. But it also has multiple uses, as we saw last time, where you can combine that with a Vimeo plugin and use it to make screen recordings or camera recordings of students giving reflections. And so today we're going to kind of continue with that process of what alternatives exist to Flip. And David is going to show us a tool, again, by another product that's been around for a while called Screencastify. And they have their Screencastify Submit, which can also be used by teachers and students to create these reflective type assignments that work so well inside of Flip. So David, what have you got to show us here?
All right. So Screencastify, like you said, has been around for a while. And I just want to take everybody through kind of just what's available on the page. And then really, I think the main focus will be on the submit portion, because as you know, we're looking at alternatives to Flipgrid, which is now Microsoft Flip. And so we'll take a look at what are some options where you can have students submit videos and then look at those videos. And then there's also like a Google Classroom integration too that we'll explore. But on the face of it, so if you look at the site itself, it's pretty standard here. You have like your side menu and then your main content in this area. So the very first thing that you'll notice is that there's this discover area, and I would just recommend it as kind of another way of learning about Screencastify in a variety of different ways. But there might be something that piques your interest because it's something that you're trying to do. Say like, for example, this video newsletter for parents. If that's something that you're looking for, start there and go to that and then get some ideas for that. But this is just a library of videos that you can watch. Think of them as kind of like extra training. The second one is going to be the My Videos area. And then this area, this is where you can record things of yourself. So you're recording videos, and then this is where they get housed. Now, I will say that with the way that this operates, there's, you have to upgrade if you're looking to use this quite a bit. So that's just something to be aware of. But if you want to get started in this area, all you do is click record a video, and then you can go ahead and use the icon here once you've installed the Chrome extension, and then you just start that process. So you can kind of play around with the different settings, and if you want to change like your camera or your audio, this is where you set that up. And this is actually not a far stretch away from when Screencastify first came out, and where you just use the extension. And I had students use this in the past where we had the extension on their Chromebooks and they recorded it and basically did like a presentation. And so you still have the options for, sharing your webcam or not and all that type of stuff. But when you're ready, you just hit record. And again, this is where your personal videos get housed. So think of this more of like, if there's instruction that you're giving where you're, getting a message across to students or whoever it might be, this is where it'll be. You can create folders in this area if you want to. Again, if you start to have if you pay for it and you have a high library of number of videos, then you're going to put them here and try to organize those. Now, when we get to the assignments part, what's great is that because we can connect it to Google, a lot of the stuff that you do, especially with students in the submit portion, will actually get funneled to your Google Drive. And that's a place where they can get housed as well. So If you do want to upgrade, you can check out right here. This is the plans. They are cheaper if you just do it for a whole year. We're not, we're not solicitors, so whatever you want to do there is totally fine. It's just that will help you understand what's part of those plans. You'll notice, like in this premium library, for example, there's stuff here that's tied to other videos that you can access if you pay for premium, like YouTube and tons of other resources as well. I can't access them because I don't pay for it, but just so you're aware. Then the edit uh, feature, this allows you to edit media, so you can bring videos in and edit things. But again, it's limited to the degree of how much you can do. But another nice feature that's just part of it, if that's something that you would like to do. And once you have videos in, particularly in the My Videos section, you want to edit those, that's where you can do that. Our main focus is really going to be this submit area. So I want to just point out a couple things to you that you want to actually take a look at in terms of the layout here. The first is you'll notice that there's these template cards. And so we're seeing this more and more, I feel like, because with the integration of AI into everything, there's pre-made templates that you can use, and AI kind of now is a part of this Screencastify Submit, where it guides you through that process of, what are you looking for, and helping you build out what it is that you want ultimately. If you don't want this here, you can just click hide templates and they'll go away, and then you can just focus on your main content. If you have a bunch of stuff built out and you need to search for something, you can do that here in the search bar. And then the other thing, once you do have like your assignments, you'll notice that this submissions area, this is actually where you're going to come to pretty frequently, I feel like, because clicking on the submissions area is going to allow you to look at what has been completed by students, and then your ability to just like view each one, and then toggle through those. But again, and I'll show this in a minute. I'll show this where you can also go to your Google Drive and they'll be there as well. So I will come back to that. A couple things about the assignments themselves. So if you click on an assignment, you'll see that there's this action button. If you want to delete the submissions, you can. Say a student needs to redo it or something like that, you can delete it. Up here is actually where you can, let's say you need to get the share link out to students again. Let's say you just want to preview the assignment, you can do that from there, and it will show you what you were asking students to do. And this is basically what the students will see in this area. So when they open up an assignment, whether it be from the link you send them or if it's in Google Classroom, either way, that's what they're going to see. Now you can edit the assignment details, which I will show you in just a minute. We'll go back and kind of start fresh from like a new assignment. But this right here allows you to get into individual assignments and kind of revamp what the expectations of the assignment were. So if you want to edit that, you can. And then you can close the assignment too, right? So the idea behind that is no longer accepting submissions. Okay. Now, I mentioned if you click on submissions, right, you'll see the submissions by students. But again, you can also go to open in Google Drive, and that means that it's going to take us directly to the folder for this specific assignment. So if I click on open in Google Drive, it's going to bring us here. And so from your drive, here's kind of the breadcrumbs. So it's from your drive. Whenever you create your first assignment, it automatically creates a folder for you called Screencastify Submit. So as a teacher, you're just going to see that folder. And then as you create different assignments, right, they're going to actually start to be built into this area. And so then with this individual assignment, I just click on it. And then I would actually be able to see if I had 20 students and they all completed this assignment, I would see the videos for all of those students housed in this area. So again, you can the nice thing is the Google Drive integration, because it's very easy for you to view the students, and then obviously, like I mentioned, the connection to Google Classroom as well, because then that allows them the ease of accessing it through your learning management system that you're maybe already using with them. So if you're a Google Classroom teacher. Okay. So that kind of goes over the different submissions. Now, if we go, let's say we want to do back to our submit, like the way it normally looks. Let's say, so this was a assignment that was already created, that I had already done. But what if I want to start a new assignment? If you look on the top right, there's this new assignment area that you can click. And this is where you're going to set everything up when you're building it from scratch. And this is actually what, when you already have a built assignment and we clicked on it and I mentioned the edit assignment, that edit button from the little drop down, that will bring you back to this area for an assignment that's already created, to be able to adjust certain things about it. So I think the biggest thing with this is determining what you actually want the assignment when it's completed by students to look like. So if you have, your assignment title in general here, like I did the introduce yourself one, maybe we just call this one reading practice. And then I think the biggest thing is, for some things, you're not going to need them to necessarily share their screen. Now, if they were doing a presentation and they wanted to show their Google Slides or something like that and their webcam to be able to present on something, then this would make sense. But maybe for reading practice, really all we would need is the webcam recording. And this is where you can choose what you want to do with that. So it's either, your three options are screen and webcam, webcam only, or screen only. So whatever you feel is best for each individual assignment. So when you choose that, you can also, this is not required, but you can put in the instructions for the assignment. And then over here, this is where you can link up your Google Classroom. So you don't necessarily have to. You can do generate a link. And what that will do is, when you go into your classroom, like with this one, all I did was create an assignment. And then from the create assignment part, I just used the link option and pasted it in, which is perfectly acceptable too. But I think that there's definitely something to be said for ease of access if you do the Google Classroom, because what that will do then is allow you to connect your Google Classroom, and then you'll be able to just pull things in directly. So then it's accessing the course. Now, I don't have mine set up that way, but that's something that you can do in the settings. You just click enable, and then what it'll do is have you go through this process with Screencastify, and then you'll just have to say that you agree to these, continue, and then once you do go back and you have it connected, when we go to submit and we do our assignment again, like this, and we go to Google Classroom, now you'll see that this is different. And it's actually showing me the classes that I have. So like my Screencastify demo, right? I can choose, maybe this is just for one student, maybe it's for all students. And then if I do have topics built within my class, I can funnel those directly under the topic. So either way, you can put a due date here, or you can schedule for a later date as well. Okay, so for this, let's just do create and assign for this class. And what we'll see is that, since this one was already in here with just the link example, what we'll see with this is create and assign. And when I go to my class, and let's just go back here. Okay, and it shows up right there. So there's my reading practice Screencastify.
I think too, David, and if this would be if a school is paying for both Google and Screencastify, which there probably are some schools that are doing that. I think in the Google Classroom part, when you went to create an assignment, and then there was those add-ons that appear on the bottom, like by YouTube, and where you clicked on that link, there can be one if your Google admin turns it on for Screencastify. So that is something to just be kind of aware of. That hey, if you have that, then consider yourself fortunate. You could probably then just start that assignment right in Google, and it connects Screencastify automatically in for you too.
Yeah, and it's a really great point because there's also one thing that you should be aware of is that, and I was going to show the student side here, is that when we go to the student, one of the things that happened to me with using like our student accounts for this, I had to, in the Google admin, I actually had to make sure that um, the Screencastify extension, it would not allow me with my student account to access it. So that's one thing that you'll have to have. Whoever runs your Google admin will have to turn that on. So
So
um,
that's a good point too. Like we like to talk about these different tools and things that we use, but you should always check with your tech coordinators, with your Google admins, to make sure that it's set up and ready for you to actually be able to use, and that it does meet your school's requirements when it comes even to student data privacy is also another thing to always kind of confirm.
yep. I do want to take just a quick step back because I mentioned before that as you create things, right, they get put into your Google Drive. So if we go back to our Screencastify Submit here, let's see. Maybe this isn't going to show up. Okay, hold up. I'll come back to that. So if we're in our student side, what we'll do is you'll just click on this. So the students will access directly through here, and they will have to go through that process of like approving the Google side of things. So that's something, again, where you kind of have to decide, do you want them to connect it to Google Classroom? So with this, with the example one, basically what we'll have is with when the students go in, and as we mentioned, you will have to make sure that the admin for Google Classroom is turned on for the students, so to connect to Screencastify. If they aren't, then going through the link, you can do that. They'll just have to start their recording here, and then once they do, as we showed before, when they submit those, they'll get put into the individual assignment. So this would have been one that I did and recorded, and then when I was done with it from the student side that you saw here, so I just clicked start recording, recorded my video, and then when it was complete, it got sent to the teacher, who is also me, into this area for me to review. One thing that's worth pointing out as well is that you can, when you view a student's video, what's kind of cool is you can actually, from this, comment directly from this part onto here. So depending on how you set it up, like if you have it in Google Classroom and you're viewing it from in there, and you could definitely do comments in there, but you can also from your drive click comments and respond directly to the student who owns this video or who recorded this video, and they'll see the comments about your with your feedback on it. So that's something that's kind of a neat thing to do as well. Okay. Again, you can access through here. You can click on the submissions, right? And you can see them in Screencastify, or you can go directly to your drive and see all of them there too, which is probably going to be a little bit more handy. If you want to do some of that commenting and things like that on there. But outside of that, some other interesting things that I think I've seen is that you could do have students record themselves. So rather than, let's say that it's not just limited to assignments, right? If you have an assignment and you have students do it, great. But another interesting one that I've seen is where students are working on something and they have troubles with an application or something that they're using, and they actually screen record what is happening and send that to the teacher. And it's almost like you'd have an assignment, but it would be like a troubleshooting assignment, and it's always open, so it allows students to record things. And then if they have issues, like let's say they have issues with FigJam and getting the Lumio, or the not Lumio, getting the Vimeo plugin on there, maybe they show you with their screen, and then you can help them out with that process. So it's not just limited to assignments, but it's a good communication tool in case you need it for other things as well. Okay, you could have students, we kind of showed, do reading practice. Other ones I've seen is kind of like this introduce yourself. When you're first getting started, have students record a video introducing themselves, maybe answering some questions so that you can get familiar with them. And then what you'll probably use it the most for is more along the lines of assessments and things like that. Yeah, so some cool ideas there. If you want to learn more outside of our video, if you click on the university area here, there is some certificates and things that you can earn. You can start there, you can do their course and learn a bit more about it. And maybe if you find that you're going to be paying for the upgrade, maybe you want to jump into one of these courses so you can learn kind of all the ins and outs of everything that it can do, and what's more available to you from the premium side. So
All right. Hey, that was great. Exciting uses that I think we can find for educators to be able to choose one of those couple of different platforms between the FigJam and with the Vimeo plugin. Or if it looks like Screencastify Submit might be more your speed, would definitely be another one to test out, And I think what you really need to do is play around with, one or both of them, and find out which, even gather some feedback from your students. If they've tried one, tried the other, and it might give you kind of a direction that you want to go now that we don't have Flip. So thanks, David, for taking the time out to show us Screencastify Submit here. So next time we're going to take a look at another tool, again, that could be used to help replace Flip. This one is a tool called Gravity, and it comes with its own benefits, and definitely worth taking a look at. I think it has a free version and a paid version, and I think even under the free, depending on what exactly you would like to do with your students, it is a good alternative to Flip, and a very easy one to set up and get rolling with. So until next time, I'm Jeremy, that's David. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you soon.